With the spirit of Halloween coming soon, guys, we're gonna be reacting to Reddit true scary stories, or supposedly true. I don't know if they're true or not. You gotta let me know. Comment down below if you do think they are true. But let's check these stories out. I'm curious to know how scary they actually potentially maybe ironically getting. Shutters that made me shudder. Talking like the Watch Mojo guy now. But anyway, one Sunday afternoon a few years ago, I was in my parents' bedroom playing a computer game on the laptop. I was kneeling by the bed next to the window. The laptop was resting on the bed. After a while of playing, the shutters opened. However, nobody else was there. The windows were closed. I definitely thought it was super strange, but I just decided to ignore it and keep playing. Well, I kept playing for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. But then, out of nowhere, the shutters slammed shut. And I mean they slammed shut loudly. Nobody else was in the room. I was the only person in there. I totally froze. I was paralyzed. I could not move. After I couldn't move again, I left the room in a panicked hurry. I don't think I'll ever know what it was. Maybe it was just wind. Did you ever potentially think about that? Did that run through your mind? It could be wind, because the shutters shut for me all the time. I just assume it's wind, and if it's not, game's a game. I'm living in the ghost. Stalked by a killer. I'm such a dick. Anyways, I haven't shared this before, but it's been on my mind. In high school, a friend's mom was going out of town. She planned on having people over, but for whatever reason, it ended up being her and I having a sleepover. Okay. She may have cancelled the party plans to not get into trouble, but regardless, everyone in the small town knew about it. About midnight, we heard scraping sounds coming from the back bedroom. We thought it was friends trying to freak us out. It continued, but we didn't see anything. This went on for a while and we were getting scared. We peeked out and saw this person's head in the large front window. He had a distinctive hairstyle, so we knew who it was. He was a very quiet guy that was always around but seemed out of it. No one really knew his story, but he was always on the fringe of things. We thought he was weird but harmless. So we called the police and they looked around. They found pry marks on the back bedroom window frame. We told them who we saw in the window. Nothing else happened the night, but we were pretty scared. Cut to a few years later, that person was stalking us that night, broke into a house and brutally murdered a woman that lived alone. It was a town tragedy. The family ended up tearing down the house and leaving an empty lot. I'll never forget seeing the shadows of his head that window. That is pretty scary. I'd say that's pretty real, because that shit unfortunately does happen in today's day and age, today's generation. They're always out to kill something. It is quite terrifying, like the comment says. OMG, how terrifying, even though that sounds really sarcastic. Yeah, I'd say this is pretty disturbing. It fits the title. This just happened this morning and I don't know what to think. Well, lucky for you, I'm reacting to it, so I'll let you know what to think. Hashtag alpha. Anyways, I live in a condo complex and I'm not sure what to do about this. I'm a smoker and my sleep schedule isn't normal, so I was on my balcony at 12:15 AM when I saw a flashlight light up the condo right across from mine, but one floor down. I saw two figures walking around the condo, and then the first figure sat down while the second figure looked like they were going through this condo. I'll call them figure 1 and figure 2. I was panicking, but I didn't know what to do. I took a picture, but honestly I was terrified because these 2 hours they were still there. Figure 1 was sitting in a chair facing the window while figure 2 was walking around. My husband said that I shouldn't take pictures. At around 4 AM the flashlight turned off and it was completely dark. I don't know what I saw, but it freaked me the fuck out. Update: I reported it anonymously to the police. They have all the information, including the address sheet. Hopefully they will come and investigate today. Well, I feel like you're the problem in this entire situation. Maybe there were 2 folks living there and the power went off, perhaps. Fucking hell, dude. What the fuck? Or maybe they didn't pay their bills, that's why their power went off. Like, I don't know what the scary part is of the story, but I feel like you're the issue in this entire case. Weird thing that happened in an apartment. Hi, I'm Mary, and this story takes place when I was 4 or 5 years ago. So when I was 4, I was alone in my room. I don't know what I was doing, but I heard a voice from one of my family members. I think so. I looked through my window and I saw no one, and go out of my room to my dad on the couch and ask my dad if he was calling me, and he said no. By the way, I try to tell my mom about it, but she doesn't believe me because my mom is religious, so she never believes me. But by the way, when I get older, I sometimes hear the voices, but anytime I tell my mom, she thinks I'm going crazy or something like that. To be honest, I think it's scary to me, but sorry if the story is short, but to be honest, I think scary happened afternoon. Well, maybe the scary thing is you can't fucking do grammar. That's the scariest thing in this entire story right now. For fuck's sake, man. Psycho Kitty Yard Mary, do your grammar. My Nana doll. Hi, this is a true story of mine which I contributed to my fear of dolls. Well, my fear of dolls sparked from a movie called Annabelle. I highly recommend you go watch that movie alone at night. But anyway, so when my mom was pregnant with me, my maternal grandmother died. My mother spent her first trimester grieving. After I was born, my mother would often drive up to my grandfather's city to give him some company. He was lonely after he became a widower. Now, in his home there was a toy box full of the old dolls. I remember one I took a great liking to in particular. She wore a red plaid dress, pale skin, had wavy blonde hair, blue-grey eyes and red lips. I called her Nana and treated her as if she was a human being. When playtime was over, I never put her back in the toy box with the other dolls. I kept her on the table, standing straight, so she would always be there for me. Now, fast over 10 years, I'm a young teenager. I'm petrified of dolls and I couldn't figure out why. I also have taken interest in genealogy and my family history. My mother shows me a photograph of her mother as a young woman. Blue-grey eyes, wavy blonde hair and pale skin. She was planning on having me call her Nana. To be fair, that is a creepy ass story, alright? Like, I know you probably watched the entire Annabelle trilogy or some shit like that, but the odds of this really happening, I mean, sure, there could be like coincidences, but like, of course, in this day and age, coincidences don't even fucking exist apparently. I mean, to be fair, we have a reason to say that, but this is a bit chilly. This does get the hairs up. So yeah, I'd say it could be true. It's all about perception as well, by the way. Like, it's all about perception if you really think it's gonna be happening. I saw the ghosts of 2 kids at my birthday party. I just told my mom the story to see if she remembered, and she doesn't, and I guess that made me want to tell it to more people. When I was little, I used to have big birthday parties. You know, the Mexican parties for 3 years old with tons of alcohol that lasted till 3 a.m. Fucking hell, dude, what's happening in Mexican parties? I'm at a 3-year-old birthday party, holy shit. But anyways, so at one of my birthday parties, it must have been before I was 5, it was time for me to go to bed. My mom went to tuck me into bed before she went back to the party, and she had left my presents in the room. She turned the lights off. Even though it was dark, I could see my presents in my room. Along with the presents, I also saw 2 kids going through my presents and opening them. I told my mom who was those kids opening my presents, get them out of here. She turned on the light and said there was no one there. To this day, I still remember it was very clearly, I swear. There was 2 kids in that room with me. After telling my mom the story, she said it could have been something with the house, or someone had brought bad energy into the house, like witchcraft or something. Or, now hear me out, this is gonna be crazy, they were your imaginary friends. I had a couple of those growing up, you know what I'm saying? We had John, Tom, Pal, Sid, Patel, all of them, you know? Like, they're probably fucking hell. They're probably your imaginary friends, and if it's some witchcraft, if it's some witchcraft, then, well, forgive me, don't curse me or anything like that, you know, shout out to witches and all that stuff, you know, shout out to the LGBT witches, all of it, alright? But like, I really doubt this could potentially be scary. The girl I've dreamed about, can't all guys relate to this one? I've dreamed of something so weird. It was like I'm at a place like combination of War Park and Disney, because every ride you need to swim or have a boat to just switch places. So it started with me and my older sister entered that place, and in the process of exploring we decided to split. And there I was, enjoying every ride, but something weird happened. When I entered the boat ride, like, because I was alone at first, but then sometime later there was a girl starting with me. Or you mean staring at you? Starting with me. She was so unfamiliar, like I'd never seen her before, so we introduced ourselves and we discovered that her name is what? Fucking incomplete story! The footstep I heard in my house when my uncle died. When I was a kid, I went to my dad's every other weekend. When I was 8 years old, my uncle unalived himself. I'm sorry to hear that, man. On his front porch of the house. A few years later, me and my dad ended up living there. Several creepy things have happened in that place, but one night really stuck with me. I was asleep in my room and the cat curled up at the foot of my bed. I could hear my dad snoring in the next room. That's when I heard it, clear as day, footsteps on the walkway above us. The house was huge, kind of an open concept A-frame. It was technically 4 stories tall, but the first 2 stories were completely open with the balcony walkway wrapping around the living area, and I could hear someone walking that way. Here's the thing, the only ones in the house were me, my dad, and the cat. The cat was still on my feet. My dad was soaring away, but the footsteps kept moving above me. Other weird stuff happened in that house too, but that was the first time I noticed something that really sent chills down my spine. My dad always believed my uncle's spirit still lingered there. Honestly, I believe it too because my uncle had a lot of demons when he passed. True story, even now I still shiver thinking about it. Well, it could potentially be true because there's no real way of knowing if ghosts exist or don't exist, or like supernatural spirits or energy exists or doesn't exist. There's no real way of knowing that. And you know what I'd do? I'd just leave, dude. Ciao Bella, dude, I'm out of here. Like, I'll see you guys when I see you. Dad, have a great rest of your day. You want to pull up with me? Pull up with me. If you don't, you're on your own, buddy. You gotta fight your own brother spirits, you know what I'm saying? But but yeah, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. And comment down below, y'all. Yes, you behind the screen watching this video, subscribe, please. Please, bro. And yeah. You can check out the Sid Parikh Reddit. You could I don't know, you could post your stories out here if you'd like. Always open. I check it out every day. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.